All right. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. It is 6:05. After meeting the board of directors of the Fern Bluff Municipal Utility District at our monthly meeting. Greetings to everyone here and everyone who is streaming our meeting. Roll call of directors. All directors are present. I would now like to ask Director Smith to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Absolutely. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Director Smith. It's the point of the meeting where we have citizens communications. Do we have anyone signed up for tonight? No. All right. No citizens to communicate with us tonight. Do we have any items to be removed from the consent agenda?
No, but I did get a question this month, basically asking about the consent agenda, and I thought it's been a long time since we spoke to that at one of our meetings. Just for everyone that may be watching, the consent agenda is basically the payments, the transfers, and all that go in to pay the expenses of the district. The directors are given a meeting packet the Friday before a meeting so that they can look at all of the invoices, payments, and that type of thing, then have questions, either for staff prior to the meeting or at the meeting. But it's basically check registers, financial statements, tax payments. That's basically what's in this.
Anything non-controversial that does not need debate or discussion.
That's exactly right. And our minutes are normally in there, and that's when we would make changes to the minutes. There are no November minutes in this meeting packet. We haven't received the November minutes yet, but I will forward those once
We'll
we get
approve them
those.
in the next meeting then. And then also with the consent agenda, board members can move to remove items from the consent agenda if they do want to discuss them and not just pass it without discussion. So that is something that we can also do with the consent agenda.
That's correct. That's correct. Perfect. I have nothing to be removed at this time.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve. Second.
All right, then we're going to give it to Director Barnes making the motion to approve the consent agenda with Director Smith seconding. All in favor? All right, motion carries 5-0. Consent agenda is approved without the November minutes, which we'll have next month. Very good. Roads Committee, item number 7. What do we have?
The only update I have on our roads is that we did send the documentation to the city of Round Rock agreeing to the sale of those small bits of property for the Wyoming Springs extension. It will go to city of Round Rock's council meeting this month, and then we'll get, signatures from them, and then it'll all be sent back to us. So it's another 30 to 60 days before all that's finalized. But I don't have any updates. Great Oaks is moving right along. The bridge project, I expect that they will probably be changing some of the detours at some point fairly soon. But it's just moving along. The bridge is there. The connection is almost there. It's actually pretty amazing when you see it.
Very good. All right. Now let's do, and I apologize for not moving up further, but let's do the landscape right now. Brian, would you like to give us an update, please?
Sure. So we're at 2 visits per month now as we're into December. We've serviced once. We're servicing again this week, and we're going to give you another service next week. And then we are going to be shutting down unless there's an emergency. We'll be shutting down that week between Christmas and New Year's. So typically when we do that, we'll shut off the irrigation with y'all's permission. But at this point, everything that we've planted in the fall is pretty well established, and 6-7 days in the wintertime shouldn't be an issue. But again, I'll probably communicate that with Janie beforehand.
Yeah, we'll look at the temperatures and see kind of where we are with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to leave it on, certainly can. Everything's been mulched at this point. We finished that last week. And so this week and next week, we'll be doing maintenance as needed. Mostly leaf pickup at this point. They kind of, the last 2 or 3 weeks, they've really started to fall. So that's taken 90% of our visit, just doing the debris cleanup. So
Where do you clean up the leaves and the debris at?
where?
Yeah.
Just all throughout the parks, up here in the parking lot.
So any green space, parking lot, sidewalks?
Yeah.
all that stuff. Okay.
Yeah. What you see now that's because we haven't been here in 2 weeks. But even 2 or 3 days this time of year, it
Can
can
make a huge difference.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why we're going to get you guys 2 weeks in a row before we take a break, just to get as much up as we can. I think most of it'll be down by then within the next 2 weeks, but we'll see. Like I said, mulch is done. So the next couple months, we'll be going twice a month, 2 visits a month. And in our off weeks, some of that time will be spent repairing granite trails, limbing up limbs over your green belts, and contractual obligations beyond mulch, chemicals, and maintenance visits. So that's what you can expect from us to finish the year and to get us to spring. Another year. Thank
Another
you.
year. I know.
We really appreciate your business, and we just can't thank you guys enough. Kind of our dream job.
Yeah, thank you for taking care of us for another calendar year. Much appreciated.
Very well.
Appreciate your attentiveness and willingness to do the work.
My pleasure.
Now, while you're here, real quick, so we disaggregated the data from the park survey we did. I just want to say for the record how many comments. We got several comments about how nice the parks look, how
Good.
well the landscaping is,
Good.
and how good of a job you guys do. So
I'll pass that along to the people doing the majority of the work.
the neighbors, the community members, they are definitely very responsive to y'all's work.
That's good.
So
That's great. We like to hear that.
All right. Any other
Thank
questions?
We'll talk.
Okay.
All right.
Merry
Thank you very
Christmas.
much.
Tell
sir.
everybody Merry
Okay.
Christmas.
Much appreciated.
Thanks, Brian.
Merry Christmas.
What was his name?
Brian.
Brian?
Yeah.
Well, he was with Jake.
Yes.
Yeah, he's Jake Gardner's working.
We did, I meant to say that when he was here, we did just finish up, there's
What was
some
it?
capital
What was his name
projects
again? Brace?
because of the maintenance issues that we had.
Right.
Brian Schmidt.
Brian.
Brian, yes. We had quite a few maintenance issues over the summer. Trees dying. I think some of it was a result of some of the freeze damage, and then the drought hit. So we had to do quite a few maintenance projects at every single park to clean up the dead trees, fix the irrigation, all that. We talked about this back in October, and they've pretty much finished everything at this point. They concentrated on the trees closest to the park proper, like over at Friendly Oaks Park. We just had 2 trees just flash die right at the little trail circle area. So those types of things have to be done right away. But their maintenance issue, I forgot to tell them, thank you for that, because they got on a lot of that really quickly. So yeah, our irrigation systems are aging. That's one of the things, Kevin, it's as we start planning to do some of the renovations in our parks, obviously we'll probably make some changes to the actual, footprint of it, but we're going to have to really talk about our irrigation systems.
Okay. So that'll be a capital expense.
Yeah. Definitely.
In the future.
The freeze is all obviously very hard on irrigation systems. Y'all all have them in your house, so you probably know this. Then couple that with the age, and then like a year like this year with the intense heat and the drought, it just constricts and expands and constricts. So we had a lot more breakage this year. It's just
And
nature
you're
of the
mainly
beast.
talking about like thin PVC pipe, right? That's what you're talking
And the heads and all of that, they get
Yeah.
brittle. It's plastic. They
Mhm.
get brittle after a time. So yeah. Anyway,
about. All right, we'll have to watch the capital outlay in the future. We'll have to put that on
Yeah.
the schedule.
and we can do park by park as we put in new equipment.
Okay. Very good. All right. Next item is 8B, General Manager and Operators Reports.
My report is on page 26. We did have a water line leak on Glen Canyon that was reported by a resident. We were able to respond immediately. Water being water, we don't really know how long that leak was there prior to surfacing, but we were able to make that repair quickly. It did affect our water loss this month, as you will see in the reports. And we've been waiting for some consistent dry weather to fix the patch in the road. Just when we think that sand and is dried up over there so they could put the asphalt back in, then we get another couple of rainy days. So we will fix it. It's right near Glen Canyon and Gunnison Springs. It's not a huge patch, but it's there. Fourth quarter newsletter is in y'all's packet. I can talk about that in communications. Did find a couple of errors in it. Thank you, Mark. Of course, the park survey will deal with that too. Some of the others are going to be dealt with in different agenda items as your meeting goes along, but that's all I have.
Very good. Mr. Operator, what do you have for us?
Just a couple of things. We're getting close to the end of the wastewater cleaning televising project, so charges have already started coming in. So that's going to hit some of our capex numbers for this month and next month as well. So other than that, I mean, so far so good. We do have some manholes that will need some attention. Wastewater, I mean, it has a high sulfur content. When it degrades biologically, it becomes hydrogen sulfide. The acid eats on the concrete and
Good grief.
yeah.
There'll be a test in a couple of
Flashback
minutes, so take notes.
to junior year chemistry.
I could have said really bad poop, but
I actually went out in front of my house, big black truck.
yes.
And I was like surprised at how far down that goes, and then there's just little, like a little gully way. So if this thing actually does get filled up, and that's when it erodes the cover, or it's just on the surface.
No, it's the velocity of the wastewater going through the lines. When it's pretty rich, I mean, it just, if it goes a long time, a long distance in that line, it starts degrading. Then you mix it up a little bit. That's when the gases start coming out. Then the humidity in the pipes, it just sticks to
So it's not just the water; it's actually a gas that's being.
Yes. Yeah, it's with when it
Now I understand the chemistry.
makes a left, makes a right, it just makes turns. And,
Is rich an adjective for what we
Uh-huh.
think it is? Okay.
It is.
All right.
beef and jalapenos,
I
yes.
have personal edification. Okay. Thank you.
So yeah, we're close to the end on that one. So I'll be really glad when we're done. But we will be coming back to the board. We may have to bid this one out. We have a line of about 22 manholes, but we're working on it. I know Brushy Creek is a contributor to that sectional line, so we may have them on the hook to work with us and contributing to that. But like I said, it's at staff level talks right now. So
Okay.
Are these across the district or in a specific neighborhood?
it's a specific line, comes in Broken Branch, makes its way through Fern Bluff Park, comes out basically at this last meter, or last meter.
So it's basically on not Oakbrook.
No,
No.
not Oak. Oak Brook's looking pretty good so far.
That's
Yeah,
what they, that's
not
what
a
they
lot
gotta
of
say.
agitation in the lines over there. So.
That's in
So far, so
neighborhood
good.
too. So
And for the good news, I'm pleased. I'm honored to let the board know that you have a staff member that is now a new A licensed operator. Jeremiah just took the test and passed it, and now he's among a group of operators that I would say is in the elite level, because the A license first test usually has about a 60% fail rate. So it's not an easy test. Been there, done that. It's not easy. But Jeremiah showed dedication and the desire to pass it, and praise God, he passed his test. So
Congratulations.
Outstanding.
but I will say he's halfway there, because there's also an A for wastewater.
Oh,
We have him working on that, so
yeah.
we're good. He'll take a little break for the holidays, and then
Right back on it.
so yeah. So
Excellent.
then he'll join an even more elite group of folks that there's only 2,000 or 3,000 in the state of Texas, in a group that's about 20 or 30,000 right now. So
And that's how we get to a superior rating, right?
There you go. We're
Good.
very fortunate with our
Yes.
operations staff.
I agree.
So we do have some good people on staff, and I'm thankful. Good job, sir.
Excellent. Very good. That was
Other
great.
than that, that's all I have.
You saved the best for last.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Very good. All right. So yeah, if we need to bid something out or add to the CapEx budget, yeah, let's get on it.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
Very good. All right. Now we're going to get into committees. Parks and Rec. Do we have anything for Parks and Rec?
Actually, Joe, do you want to share anything about parks first? Do you have anything about Parks and Rec?
What?
Parks and
Parks
Recreation.
and Rec?
Well, what the parks? Not much. Jack Gardner was not here. But he always is. But Brian was here at the meeting. He informed us about the work they did to improve our parks in November. So I don't have anything else to add to that.
All right. Director Barnes, what do you think?
Well, everybody has a copy of the park survey summary sheet that was made. So basically, what I did, as it says in the newsletter, we had about 248 responses. Now, first thing I want you to notice is that some of these numbers may not add up to exactly 248, because some people answered some questions and didn't answer the others, as is with a lot of surveys that are handed out. Also, I do want to mention real quick kind of the intrinsic bias that is there, because generally speaking, when you send out a survey, usually the people that have very strong opinions one way or another are the ones that are going to answer. But that's just kind of general. So just kind of a couple of key things about the survey. The response, the first question that we asked is, what neighborhood were you a part of? It's pretty proportional amongst our neighbors. 24 and 28, Fern Bluff, Oak Brook, about 46, Stone Canyon. Age ranges, pretty much very similar in each of the different age ranges. Larger groups, 10 and under, as compared to 19 and above, meaning adults. Now, on the second page, on page 2, the parks that are visited most, probably what we would probably generally see, Brightwater, Fern Bluff, Olson Meadows all seem to come in highest on that list. Or which parks do you visit? Which ones are visited most? Brightwater and Fern Bluff with the highest percentages as far as which ones you visit the most. Now, as far as some of the higher importance of questions, on page 3, you see the satisfaction questions. How satisfied are you? We had roughly 82% of the responses say that they are either satisfied or very satisfied, with 13% saying neutral. So that's a good number. And as far as cleanliness, This is one of the numbers that I did compliment Brian on, is that 84% feel that the parks are either clean or very clean. So whether it's our Texas Lawn and Garden people, our own staff members, we're doing a great job at keeping the parks clean. With about 15% saying that it's clean at times. So, I mean, that's kind of the neutral kind of point of that question. Page 4, okay, another very important question in the survey was the safety question. We had about 88% of the responses say that they felt the parks were either safe or extremely safe. And so, so that's great. That's very important. 10% said that they were somewhat safe, which, you know, there's always going to be that percentage that is not quite as extreme as the others. On page 5, you notice some other. You got another. How satisfied are you with the equipment or the amenities? While 92% of the responses said that they are satisfied, the next question, 65% said that they would like to see some changes made. Okay. And on the next couple of pages, I did list some of the general comments that were made that we're not going to go through one by one with those comments, but I did, as I was looking through the comments, I did see some trends. At the top of page 6, you see the people who asked for newer and upgraded equipment. Roughly about 20 of the comments said they wanted newer, upgraded equipment. We had about 22 comments say that they would like to see some kind of a dog park, some kind of a free, non-leash dog park. 23 of the comments said that they would like to see the water fountains either be, some of them said have them turned on, some of them said have them clean, some of them, just various comments about the water fountains, which once again, I do want to say that, you know, with the winter weather that we had, with the heat, with just the combination, we had a chemistry lesson a few minutes ago. I mean, the combination of all the different factors, you know, having the water fountains on all the time, I know that's kind of hard. And so I do want to commend y'all as far as, you know, as far as taking care of the water. So just saying what the comments are. We had a few people say that they might like, instead of mulch, put some kind of that rubber base at the bottom of the playscapes. So that might be something when we start looking at redoing the playscapes. That might be something that we look at also. Had several comments say that they wanted lighted walking trails. So basically on the trails, put some kind of solar operated lights or something like that, which, you know, with the, especially right now with the sun coming up later in the morning and the sun going down earlier, then that might help as far as the safety goes too. Had a few people say that they wanted easier access to the bathrooms and maybe easier access to some of the others. Some people, I'm not going to say several, there were roughly 4 or 5, said something that they'd be interested in seeing some exercise equipment on, maybe having one of the trails be an exercise trail or something along those lines. And we already said about the splash pad or the water facility. And then some people said they wanted the dog poop bags. So, which we've talked about that many times. So take a chance or take some time. I know you just got this tonight. Take some time, go through the comments, One of the things that we'll start looking at whenever we start really maybe going, like Janie said, like you said, going park by park and seeing what can we do this year, what can we afford, what can we get done. I would definitely like to see some of these comments, and maybe can't give everything, but some of these were some pretty good comments. I think some good ideas, and I think it would go a long way to show our residents that we do listen to them. I know we do listen to them, but sometimes some tangible proof is also a good thing too. So, does anybody have any questions about the park survey or anything? Like I said, all the comments are there, and some people did leave their name and their email or their phone number on the survey, because that was one of the questions that was asked. And I would definitely be happy to reach out and talk to anybody about that. And I would, once again, does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns?
I have a question. When you talk about water fountains, we're talking about drinking water fountains or decorative
Yes.
water fountains? Drinking. Okay. That was not clear on that.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to clarify that. And then for the age range of the users, so this is parents responding, adults responding with the ages of their children.
Assuming so.
Okay.
Yes. That would be the assumption.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have two questions. One I should know.
I'm really curious what you can add for teenagers besides the basketball and tennis. I'm just never.
Pickleball.
Some
Pickleball.
people said they'd like to see
Yeah.
pickleball stripes on the tennis courts. There were a few comments about adding sport courts at maybe some of the other parks, because Fern Bluff has the basketball court, they've got the tennis courts, they've got the sand volleyball court. I know Brightwater has a large area that some sports can be played in, but maybe adding something. I mean, at one of the other parks that is less used, adding a sport court, adding a pickleball court or something else that can attract. I mean, I would even venture to say, this is just me throwing out ideas. I mean, there might even be something to look into adding. So you would take away from the landscaping. I understand that. Maybe some kind of a skate park. I know that is definitely. I see our attorney over there saying
No problem. Yeah.
I was about to go get my Tony Hawk
probably
It's in my
not
Brush it
not
off
the
a little
best
bit.
idea on liability.
I could do an
But,
olive for you right here if you want me to.
That was something we had talked about, but there was a lot of pushback against it. I don't know if people would want to revisit it or not, but
And they do have one on the other side of Palmer on the Brushy Creek
They do.
Park. Is Brushy Creek or anyway, yeah.
And on this side, they've got the splash pad also. So
Yeah.
there's some of these things are
Yes.
They're just down
Facilities
the road
nearby.
somewhere.
if we, with Stone Canyon's experience with that splash pad, I would highly recommend against it. And I know that there was a mud in Cedar Park. The splash pad cracked right down the middle. It is a huge expense with huge upkeep, and it's a lot. And I'm not sure that we have any area that's capable of managing a splash pad.
you get heavy car
Another idea too, thinking about the teenagers and adults and getting them out into our parks too. I know there's a lot of area like around Cheatham Park. You've got that green belt behind Cheatham. Maybe look into the costs of putting in a disc golf course.
We actually had a disc golf course.
Did we?
It's in the Fern Bluff area, and unfortunately, it really wasn't used, and then it was vandalized, and the board decided not to put it back up because it really wasn't used. Our parks, and this is something that we'll do as we start our planning process. Our parks has some restrictions because most of them became park areas because of karst features. So we're going to be limited as to anything new with the karst restrictions. You can't put anything within X number of feet from park entrance, karst entrances and that type of thing. So we have so many caves within the district that some of it would be a challenge. You know, like the Cheatham Park main entrance. That is a very large karst feature there in the middle of it. But I do think there's some opportunities for us to do some changes and some good changes. The challenge for older kids, and we've talked about this in years past, is there really isn't play equipment for older kids. There isn't. Pickleball is starting to pick up a little bit, but most teenagers hang out. I mean, that's just what they do. They hang out. I mean, we see them in our pavilions all the time. They just sort of hang out. But it would be great. The basketball court is used all the time, you know. So yeah, I think there's some things that we can probably look at.
I think that there's some opportunities there
Yeah.
that we can definitely do.
I mean, I think some of the teenager types that are athletic would go for the exercise stations that you're talking about, similar to what Brushy Creek the trail has, the Brushy Creek Mud Trail. You ever been up through there? They have around their community center. They actually have exercise, a bar that you can push-ups on. They're permanent.
Right.
And they have a little sign, that says, "Hey, here's how you use it." So something like that might be worthy, especially maybe in the Olson Meadows where you've got this long trail going through.
Yeah.
If it's possible. The other thing I was going to ask is, did we asked how satisfied are you with parks, right? Did we ask if there wasn't a stellar answer, why? I can't remember if we did that.
I don't remember if we actually
we'll have to
asked
do that next
why.
time.
I think that we only asked if you. I remember the follow-up question was, would you like to see changes? If you said yes, then
Yeah,
I
your
don't
previous
remember
answer
if
was
we.
that.
I don't remember if we asked.
Yeah, we probably should have if you were dissatisfied or neutral, why. We'll have to do that next time we
Right.
run a survey like that. And then the other question I had or comment kind of went bye-bye. So I guess that's it for me. Good job. Oh, I remember. Is this something that we want to put on the website and share with our residents? These are the answers you gave us. I mean, this is a pretty good summary right here.
That's completely up to y'all.
I mean,
Is
if
that
you want to be
something
transparent,
We would
Well,
want
I
to
mean,
make
I
sure we
think-
take out any personal information on any of the respondents.
I don't think there is any on
Yeah,
this.
I don't think there is any on this, and
I'm not talking about the survey results.
I
themselves,
think-
but the summary was pretty good.
I think it's a great idea to put it up on the website and say, here's the results.
As a matter of fact, why don't we add it to our newsletter
I was just going to say that.
and
Yeah.
we'll just put a link there.
Right.
Perfect.
And then we'll put it under documents too.
Perfect. Yeah,
That sounds good.
I was just going to press that. So.
Thinking the same.
I don't think we need all the. There's some of these are so random that I don't think we really have to put all the comments.
All the comments,
Yeah.
maybe we
Yeah.
just do
Edit
the
them down a
draft
little
that we
bit.
did. Okay,
Yeah.
I could do that.
One of the comments is, no dogs off leash. Well, that's the law. I mean, we're not going to change that.
Right.
So we don't. Some of those comments you can edit, as far as I'm concerned.
No, I'll just edit out those comments. We'll just give a broad view right now. As we
Yeah.
move along in this process, we may get a little more in depth. But I agree. Let's do that. We'll just do the
I'm fine with
answers to
it.
the questions and then the graphs.
And the-
And make sure it makes the next newsletter. Yeah.
And maybe even as far as, because I want to make sure that, yes, they answered the questions, they told us what they thought. Maybe include, well, you may edit out all the comments, include here's some of the things that you said in your comments. I
Right.
mean,
Well,
maybe
we have,
some,
right, in the newsletter right now, actually, the very first paragraph is about park survey results. It does say we'll be assessing the results over the next few months. Requests were submitted. New and updated equipment is needed in all parks as current playscapes are aging out. So we sort of hit some of the most responded answers.
okay.
And that,
Right.
I think we agree,
So,
was the most. Our playscapes are aged.
Maybe even also include some kind of sentence, something that said, we are still, as you said, that, we're analyzing the results over the next couple of months. Include something that says, as we read your comments, we're taking those to heart and we're,
What I would suggest to do is put a cover page on this with that kind of statement saying, thank you for your participation. Here's a summary of the results that you provided, and we're going to be working through next number of 6 months, whatever, in evaluating these great recommendations and taking action as appropriate.
Okay, type that up. And email that to me. Perfect statement. Perfect.
Right.
Yeah.
I got it already.
It's the price you pay for being too good, Mark.
Yeah, darn. I got you.
Sure.
Well, I know that survey was a
Your
lot of
thought there,
work, so thanks for everyone who put that together and propagated it out. It's a pretty good response rate.
Yeah.
So I think that was great.
More than 10% if you consider we have 1,876 houses. I mean, it's more than 10% of our houses, which is
It's not bad. It's pretty
In
good.
the survey world, I think 6 to 8% is considered pretty good.
no, that's exactly right.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you for that.
Size zip line.
Yeah, can we talk about that across that drainage ditch? And I'll be happy to try it first.
Next committee up, District Community Center Committee. What do we have on the community center? Anything?
We did have to do some repair work, leaks, had to do some caulking and everything. And I think same old, it's our bell tower. Okay. It's always been an issue. I don't think that it was in the entry. I don't think it was installed correctly. Plus, you do have to do maintenance. You do have to do caulking. You do have to do that. So we had a couple of big rain events when we came in and there were puddles all in the entry again. So rented a lift. Our guys got up there and very carefully on that metal roof and caulked all around our windows and such, and seems to be holding.
All right.
We are booked up obviously through the holidays. All available staff will be on vacation the week of Christmas to New Year's. We still obviously take calls. Operations is still, you have to be operating.
Right.
But we won't have any bookings from Christmas to New Year's.
Okay.
Or to New Year's Day.
Fair enough. All right. Deed Restriction Committee. What do we have?
I won't speak for the committee itself, Mr. President, but just for the board's consideration, I'd like to visit with the board in executive session on the two addresses that are provided under the deed restriction report. I guess that's item 8F.
Okay.
I.
Let's push that back to do that with agenda item number 9.
Yes, sir.
So we'll do it then. So we'll skip over that and jump to the Security Committee. Director Tiber, do we have anything Security Committee wise?
On security committee?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, our Williamson County Sheriff served 90 excellent hours in the month of November. They did 90 hours. They conducted security checks at all of our parks. And they also conducted some traffic enforcement on our streets and on Brushy Creek. They also patrolled the Stone Canyon and Oak Brook neighborhoods and also friendly Oak Parks. So that's all I have on it.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Communications. What do we have other than excellent survey results?
We have, well, I mean, as Janie mentioned, we've got the fourth quarter newsletter, which is just about ready to go out. We're going to make some
We'll make some changes. I'll get it out in
Changes to get
MailChimp
it out.
tomorrow. Yeah.
And I also suggested, and maybe Hector can help you, that we noticed that the our mobile app downloads have been kind of stagnant. Maybe we should add a little swerve here with the QR codes so that we can see if we can get more people
Oh,
thinking about downloading our app and utilizing it. And that way they've got a more direct way of communicating issues that we may have around the district to our residents.
Very good.
Other than that, I think we're ready to go on the newsletter.
All right. Okay, so agenda item 9.
Mr. President, real quick,
Before we
we skipped over budget committee.
We did.
Yep.
We sure did. Okay. Let's jump back to budget committee before we get to agenda item 9. Thank you for pointing
All
that
right,
out.
couple of quick things as far as budget goes. One of the things that I did have a quick question on that, Janie, I wanted you to clarify real quick. So our income on our water customer service revenue was 110,416, but the purchase was only 102,796. Is there a reason for that discrepancy?
there's actually several reasons.
Okay.
Okay. If you remember back during budget committee and then the budget that we did receive a wholesale water increase from the city of Round Rock. We chose as a district to not pass on that increase to our residents this year because the economy is so tight. So that's going to squeeze that margin a little bit, especially with a narrow margin. If there is a day to 4 days difference when the city of Round Rock reads our master meters and when we read our district meters, that can be quite a fluctuation there. And then coupled with November, we did have that water line leak. So yeah, we'll have those fluctuations. We keep a
Okay.
very close eye on it, but that's what you'll see. I would think in this month in November, the biggest is our water leak. Since the fact that we sit on top of complete rock, that water leak could have been going for a couple of weeks. And I want you to think about how much water that could be depending on the size of the leak. This is inherent in the water business. This is just the way it goes. But yeah, that's that difference.
Thank you. Two other quick questions. One question is on page 15. It's under our expenses. Okay, so capital outlay, Mr. Operator, $55,000. What have we been spending? I know some of it is manhole stuff. Is that
Big chunk of it.
pretty much the big chunk of it? Okay. Is there anything else that we need to know about as far as that you have not already told us about? So, and that number is probably not going away anytime soon, right?
We budget, I think our budget for capital outlay this
Like
year.
118,000.
Well, that's in a month.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So we budget every year for those things that are either capital projects. One of them would be a maintenance repair project at a park, not the park maintenance contract, but for repairs like that. For any projects that we're going to do in the district, like park equipment will come out of capital projects. That's what that is. So that number obviously is what it is. All the invoices are listed, but you're right. That's for those that don't fall under a very clear general ledger account, like office supplies. There are capital outlay to take care of the district's assets is the best descriptor.
Alright, other than that, Mr. President, we are expenses, and even to clarify, I'm not saying that that expense is high, it is less than half of what is budgeted for this month. But I do want to, anytime a number gets that big, my little spidey senses just kind of like, so anyway, so long story short, I just wanted to say that expenses are way low. They're definitely coming in way under budget. So once again, very good job for our not spending the money. I was like, not
We
to
will
spend.
always spend what is needed to keep us as a superior district, but we are very cognizant of the fact that we are spending taxpayer money. And we will always ride herd on that. Let me just say we'll ride herd on it. That's a very Texan thing
About
to
to
say, isn't it?
took the words out of my mouth.
All right, that is all that I have.
That's it for budget committee.
That is it for me.
Excellent. All right. So with agenda item number 9, notice of a lawsuit against the district, we're going to go into executive session at this time. The board of directors is authorized by the Texas Open Meeting Act to convene in closed session for executive session for certain purposes. These purposes include receiving legal advice from its attorney, section 551.071, and that's what we're going to do now. Time is 6:51, and the board will meet in executive session.
And just noting, Mr. President, that's also item number 8F. With restriction.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Also, agenda item 8F on deed restriction.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.